alcoholic. Sorry, I got gum. I'm COVID free though, so we're good. I just got my ass kicked. I went to Florida and caught it, and shit, I'm still not feeling good. You know, months later, but I'm not infectious, so you don't got to worry about it. But and it's good to be here, and thanks for having me. I'm more glad to be here than you're glad that I'm here, because I took a little beating yesterday. You know, in sobriety you take beatings. That's just the way it is. Sometimes you take a beating. And I took like an emotional beating yesterday. And I just had to tell the guys I was working with, I said, hey, I'm going to go home. I'm just going to go home. You know, I'm going to take a break and I'm going to go home. And I've been beaten a lot. I've been sober a little over 33 years. So you take a lot of, yeah, but I had nowhere else to go. So I remember some kid, like when I took 20 years, I go, yeah, I've been sober 20 years. These claps. I go, dude, stop. I broke like a bitch, guy. I broke. There was nowhere else to go, man. And know what's funny? I remember the day I broke, and I have problems staying in focus, so you just got to kind of roll with me. I remember the day I was broke. There was this guy who's longshoreman, Eric, man, and I used to call Eric Crybaby Eric. And in the meeting, you know, and he's just huge, and he's like one of those gnarly, like, you know, he just looks frightening, this guy. But he cried every time he fucking shared. He would cry. Sorry, my language is bad too. Every time he cried, he'd share, and I was brand new, right? And so somebody else knew would be sitting next to me. I go, I bet you buck this guy cries. And they'd look at Eric and go, oh, you're fucking on, right? And then Eric would go, I'm so glad. And they just break down, right? I'm like, yeah, give me that buck, man. Anyway, and because I didn't have a job and I was living with my mother, but so, and every dollar helps. And then I remember the day I broke. God, there was nothing wrong. I had it. I was just hanging. I'm having a great time. And I walk in the meeting. I'm just screwing around. And they call on me. And nothing. I feel nothing. And they call on me, and I couldn't even spit my name out. It was just, oh, and I just got snot going down my nose, and I cried 2 minutes solid with everybody in the room just like staring at me. And then I choked out, thank you, and then I just got up and split, and I didn't come back for 2 weeks. I was so embarrassed, man, because I broke. But anyway, you know, I lost my first wife to this. I lost my first wife to a drug overdose. I lost my nephew to a drug overdose. I lost most of my friends to drug overdoses. I lost a friend a couple of weeks ago to drug overdoses. I've been divorced. I've been homeless. I was talking at a meeting one time. I was 20 years sober and homeless. Lost everything. I got all my stuff in the car. And I'm the speaker that night, and my car is parked right outside the door. And the guy goes to introduce me, goes, our speaker tonight's from... Well, he's from out back. He's out in the back. He's coming off the patio. So, and what do? You just suck it up and go on, man. You just suck it up and you keep going. You just keep going, you keep going, you keep going. I tell people sometimes that being clean or being sober, it's a closed set. It is all by itself with a circle around it. You don't touch it. People die, you don't touch it. Lose your job, you don't touch it. Homeless, you don't touch it. You never go in there. This is all this, and you never go up in here. Anyway, I'll tell you how I got here. I was living at my mother's, and if it was up to my mother and she was still alive, I would still be living at my mother's right now, man. The Al-Anon people never got one hand on my mommy, not one. You know, the blood of the lamb was spray painted on our front door, and the Al-Anons just drifted right on by. Never. She was the best. I would go to jail, and when I got out of jail, my mom would go, they're always picking on you, sweetheart. It's like, fuck yes, they are. If I was passed out any time of the day or night, normally in the neighbor's yard, usually with my pants off, if they had the balls to come over and complain, my mother would go, leave him alone, he's an artist. You know, so just, she was the best, man. And I'll tell you just a quick story about my mother. So my daughter got in trouble. So, all right. When you first get clean, you might have a couple of warrants. Right? And then you get those warrants, and then you start bragging. You go, oh, I got pulled over today and didn't go to jail. And everyone claps. You know what I mean? It's like, because that's a big deal for a lot of us. Like every time I got pulled over, I'd just drop the keys out the window and laugh, you know, because I knew where I was going, you know, and the guy would walk up and go, what's going on? It's like, run me. You know, it's like I know, it's like I'm a gentleman. I know what's happening here. I'm all right. And but so when you first get clean, maybe you got to warn, but then you clean it up, and then you go to the meeting and you say, oh, I got pulled over and didn't get taken to jail, and everyone claps, right? But then you stay clean a while longer, and you got insurance, and you got registration, and you're solid, and you get pulled over, and you can argue now on the side of the road. You can get into it a little bit. So anyway, that's a couple of years. When you get 5 years, you can argue with the police. But anyway, so my daughter comes up to me one day. I got 2 little girls that are just out of control, and they're adults now. And she comes up to me and she goes, hey, Pops, I got something I got to tell you. I go, what happened, sweetheart? She goes, I got in trouble. I got in trouble. I go, what do you mean you got in trouble? She goes, I toilet papered this lady's house, and you know, I got in trouble, and I want to be honest and tell you. Oh, it's great, sweetheart. Okay, what do you want me to do about it? You know, it's like, go play. Hey, kill her. All right. I go, hey, why'd you do it? She goes, oh, she was against solar power, so we lit up her house. I go, fuck, right on, little crusader. Get it, man. It's like I'm in, right? So then I get a call from her mother, and her mother goes, you got to go to parenting classes. It's like, what do you mean I got to go to parenting classes? And she goes, George is on probation for that toilet paper deal. I go, are you fucking kidding me? So they sent me this parenting classes, and my daughter's this little blonde, freckle-faced, little beach bunny, looked like a little Barbie doll little kid, in with all these dudes, you know, in this class. I'm going, what the fuck? So I'm getting pissed off, right? So I go, I want to talk to somebody who's in charge. This is bullshit. I want to talk to somebody who's in charge. Where's the detective in charge of this case? And they go, well, we can set you up with an appointment, mister. I go, fucking set it up. Set it up now. So I go see this dude, and I bring my daughter with me. And I sit down, and I'm hot. I'm hot. I go, what are you doing, man? I go, you fucking people dying all over the street, and you got baby girl in here on probation for toilet papering? I go, are you fucking kidding me, man? And he looks at me and goes, what do you know about the case? I go, the case? He goes, that's what I thought. And he takes this folder and he slides it over to me. And he turns it around so I can see it. And on page 1, it's an 8x10 photo of the side of this woman's house. There's a huge penis drawn on the side of the house. And it says, suck my under it. And I look at my kid, and she goes, and puts her head like this. And I tell you, I would have given her a smack, but it was a poorly drawn penis, right? So it's like I knew she had never actually seen one. So it's like, it looked like a beach ball with a triangle on top of it. But anyway, the whole point of this story is, I used to take my mom to lunch every Friday, and I took her with my daughter. My daughter came with me this one Friday. My mom goes, I heard we had some trouble down there. I go, yeah? She goes, probation, huh? I go, yeah, fuck probation. And my mom goes, for toilet papering? I go, yeah, Mom. She drew a dick on the side of this lady's house. And my mom looks at me and goes, well, how close was it to Halloween? What the fuck? And I just look at my kid, I go, she's trying to kill you. Don't listen to her. Because that's what my mom did to me. Everything was excused. Everything was cool, you know, and I love it. Sometimes you get all these hard guys, and they just get out of wherever, you know, and you go, hey, where you staying at, gangster? And they're like, I'm over with my grandmother on Lyme. Or say, you know, grandmother or auntie. Anyway, so, all right, so I'm living at my mom's. How'd I get here to you guys? A buddy of mine got busted on a cocaine trafficking charge. Now, I believe that more alcoholics are created in court than anywhere else in the world. Because hundreds of thousands of us go to court every day, non-alcoholic, non-addict. We get in front of the judge. Judge says, Mr. Smith, you're looking at a year sentence. But if you were an alcoholic, you could do a 90-day treatment program. Oh, I'm an alcoholic, Your Honor. All of a sudden, everybody is now, right? Not so. Let me tell you, if you're brand new, I'm your friend. I'm going to help you. If you're brand new and you are happy to be here, you're too sick to stay. So let me just throw that out to you. It's okay to be bummed out when you're first getting sober. It's okay to complain. It's okay to hate your sponsor, hate your chore. It's totally cool with us. We get it. We get it. No one liked it. Nobody likes it. You know, and it's okay to complain about it. I mean, somebody could walk in one of our meetings and just go, fuck it, and just flip us all off and slam out the door, and we just clap. Keep coming back. Keep coming back while the guy's going. You know, it's like, yeah, future secretary. Bring it, bud. Bring it. Because the sad thing is, if you do go out and leave, the best you can hope for is coming back. That's the best, and that's terrifying. But anyway, so if you're brand new, just tell us the truth. Tell us the truth. Tell us you don't like it. It's cool. Love and tolerance is our code. Anyway, after I told that joke about more alcoholics being created in court, it just kind of came out of my mind, out of my head at this meeting. Afterwards, this dude walks up to me and wants to talk to me, and he's huge. Right? Now I'm big. I'm 6'4", 300, lying about the 300 right now. And this guy's bigger than me, like just, you know, all fucked up. And he walks up to me and goes, "Can I talk to you, man?" I'm like, "Yeah, what's up, dude?" He goes, "I did the year, dog." I go, "What?" He goes, "I did the year, dog." I go, "Then you're a fucking stupid alcoholic, man. If you don't got enough sense to cop a plea to stay out of jail, you better get up on in here and start working some steps, guy, because your weak-ass game's going to die out there." Anyway, so, all right. My buddy goes to court, and he says he's got a problem. Now, he did not have a problem 2 weeks before that. I was getting loaded with him, and there was no problem mentioned whatsoever. It was like, fuck, dude, are you cutting that? Are you cutting that even, dog? It's like there was no problem mentioned whatsoever. It's like, hey, you know, I'm going to lay out on that last line of blow. I think I've got a problem. No, none of that was being mentioned. But now he goes to court, and he's going up to county. We live in Long Beach. He's a little curly, blonde-haired, freckle-faced little surfer boy rolling up to county. So yes, now he does have a problem. He goes up there, and you H&I guys, they send him to a treatment center. And the H&I guys get up there and start pumping him full of the spirit or whatever the hell's going on up there. And he gets all healed up, and he comes back to Long Beach with this crazy walking hand in hand with Bill, Bob, and Jesus trip or whatever's going on. It's like, you know when your friend gets clean and then he wants you to get clean also? You know, you've got... So anyway, this is what I get. So this guy comes over. He's going to save the neighborhood. That's what he's going to do. He's going to be a reformer. And real quick... Just go with me again on this. I love this book. I love this book, and there's some great shit in this book. And sometimes I used to just read it for fun, which is kind of sad, but I would read it for fun. And, you know, talking about reformers, the book says we're not supposed to start out as reformers. We're not supposed to do that, be reformers. But so one night I'm sitting there, and I got the book on my lap. I'm kind of reading it, and I'm watching TV. And this commercial comes on, and it's for, not Viagra, what's the other one? God, I love it when they say that. All right, anyway, yes. So whatever it is, so I'm sitting there, and I'm kind of pervy, you know, still I'm kind of pervy, and I got the book on me, and so this commercial comes on, I'm kind of pervy, and I hear him talking, right? So I look up, and it's this bitchin' commercial. It's like a moonlit night, and there's a man and a woman, everything's all smooth, you know, and there's a smooth voice that goes in, and goes, "Tonight's the night. And when it goes down, you will be ready." I'm like, oh, this is fucking hot. I'm watching it, right? And it's like the guy's rubbing his pant leg and the girl's winking at him. You know, it's like a moonlit night. And I realized, oh my God, this is the sales pitch for these people getting it on. This is the sales pitch. Well, some people say God's got a sense of humor, right? So I look down, I got the big book on my lap, and I look down on it, and I find the sales pitch for Alcoholics Anonymous, right? Okay, so picture this. Moonlit, Akron night. Bill and Bob. Bill's on the Harley. Bob's in the sidecar. Bill's rubbing his leg. Bob's winking. And you hear this voice. "Life will take on new meaning. To watch people recover, to see them help others. To watch loneliness vanish. To see a fellowship grow up about you. To have a host of friends. This is an experience you must not miss. We know you will not want to miss it. Frequent contact with newcomers and with each other is the bright spot of our lives." It's like, you can just see Bob going, "Get it, Bill," whatever's happening there, right? So I'm fucking laughing. I'm thinking, oh my God, that's funny, right? I'm laughing. And then what happens? So I flip the page over a couple more. And have you ever seen the end of the Cialis or whatever commercial? Like after the winking and the smiling and the smooth voice, a different voice comes on. And it goes, "Hey, if that lasts longer than 4 hours, you need to call somebody." That voice, right? So anyway, And that's the fine print. So I flip a couple pages over more, God directed, and I find the fine print of Alcoholics Anonymous. If I can read that to you in a different voice. All right. It may mean the loss of many nights' sleep, greater interference with your pleasures, interruptions to your business. It may mean sharing your money in your home, counseling frantic wives and relatives, innumerable trips to police courts, sanitariums, hospitals, jails, and asylums. Your telephone may jangle at any time of the day or night. Your wife may sometimes say she is neglected. A drunk may smash the furniture in your home or burn a mattress. You may have to fight with him if he is violent. Sometimes you'll have to call a doctor and administer sedatives under his direction. Another time you may have to send for the police or an ambulance. Anyway, so the fine. God, I did that at this big meeting one time, and this old guy gets up and he stomps out. It's like, hey, I didn't write it, bitch. Don't tell me to read it. You know, it's like, don't tell me to read the book if you don't want me to read it. You know, so anyway, whatever. I send a prayer for him. All right, anyway. Okay, so my buddy comes back as a reformer, and his first stop's my mother's house. I get this. I go, hey. I go, what's up, man? He goes, you got a problem, dude. I go, fuck what? He goes, you're an alcoholic. I go, no, I'm not. I live with my mom. Well, let me tell you what was going on at mommy's house at the time. I had warrants out for my arrest. I always have warrants out for my arrest. That's how you pay tickets. Normal people don't get that. Anyway, I try to tell them this. I try to explain it one time. I go, look, it's like you don't go to the grocery store for one item, man. You know what I'm saying? You wait. You get a couple. They'll give you a ride down. You don't got to ride. You don't got to drive to court. They'll take you. You know, you don't got to wait that long line. Know that long line? It's like you don't got to wait in that line. They got a VIP box for you right up front, and they'll even throw in a bologna sandwich and an apple while you're there. It's like you just wait. Anyway, I got warrants out for my arrest. I also have people trying to kill me, both real and imagined. Both types. And I used to tell people, don't call people over on the imaginary kill you guy night, because it's hard to get them back for the real thing, man. You know, when they're really there. And I'm a real prick, man. When I look like a nice, happy guy, and I'm sure you could never imagine me losing my temper or doing anything terrible, but I'm a real prick when I get some in me. And anyway, so I got people trying to kill me, real and imagined. I got warrants out for my arrest. I get a girl pregnant. I say, move in. Move into my mom's house with me. Let's have that baby. Move it in here. So one of the many women I was sleeping with at the time, I move her in. At the same time I move her in, I fall in love with a girl of questionable age, and I take her to Mexico and marry her. Yeah, that's where the laughter stops, right there. That's what's going on at my mommy's house. And this guy's telling me I got a problem. So I walk him away from the front door. I don't want my mother hearing talk of alcoholism on our porch. I walk him out and he says, come to a meeting with me. I go, a meeting? A meeting of what? And he goes, 12-step meeting. Come on, come to the meeting. I go, no. He goes, come to the meeting. No. Come on, come to the meeting. No. Come to the meeting. No. One meeting. No. Come to the meeting. No. You go, dude. I saw you get popped. Come to the meeting. No. One meeting. No. Come to the meeting. No. Come on, come to the meeting. No. Just one meeting. No. Come on, come to the meeting. Be good for you. No. Come to the meeting. No. Just come to the meeting. No. One meeting. No. Just come to the meeting. Okay, I'll go. Now, you know why I said I'll go? To get him to shut the fuck up. Because I'll say anything to get you to leave me alone. Including, I'm Jack Grisham and I'm an alcoholic. We're dealing with frightening business here. I got a couple of problems with Alcoholics Anonymous, and it's okay to have problems with this. Are you aware of that? It's okay. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to have problems with it. It's okay to challenge the status quo. It's quite okay. Some people say, you know, don't ask questions. Yeah, because you don't got any answers, guy. That's why, don't ask questions. If you can't stand up, if you can't put your program to the question, to the test, then you have no program. One of the problems I have with meetings sometimes is they're too quick to get the new man and the new woman to say they're an addict, say they're an alcoholic. And you got guys claiming this disease and they don't even know what the hell they're saying. Now, they may be telling the truth, but they don't know they're telling the truth. You push them into it. And have you ever been to a meeting where they go around, they introduce themselves when the meeting starts, the guy's here on a court card? It's like, I'm Bud, alcoholic. I'm Tony, alcoholic. I'm Jim, alcoholic. I'm Frank. I'm here on a court slip. Whoa! They go crazy like a bunch of monkeys. You know, just slapping their heads, man. You see their eyes going, we got one, we got one, we got one. I know what I'm going to say. I know what I'm depth and weight, depth and weight, depth and weight, depth and weight. And then the fucking meeting starts, and the whole meeting is dedicated to Frank and his denial. I remember when I, too, came in on a court card, Frank. Guy's not even alcoholic. He was out playing golf. He shot a shit round. Stopped and had a couple of cocktails, pulled out of the country club, and they popped him for being drunk, and he went to court. And guess what? When Frank went before the judge, he was smart enough. Yes, Your Honor, I got a problem. And they sent him down to us with a court slip. Whole room focusing on this guy, hammering this guy. Not even alcoholic. Know what happens next time he comes in that room? Jim alcoholic, Bud alcoholic, John alcoholic, Frank alcoholic. Because he just wants you to get off his back. Leave me alone, man. Just sign my court card and let me get the hell out of here. Now, I don't blame him. I mean, I coach my friends that come here. I go, say you got a sponsor, say you know, just to get people off your back. You know, so you can just get a moment to sit and just sink in a little bit, man, and get a feel of this. Anyway, if you're in the room, I know we got a lot of addicts, it's the same deal. Addict, alcohol, it's the same. When we're talking this, we're talking about a fatal illness. So we're sitting in a room, we're saying we're all this, we're sitting in a room, and the literature in here says that without a spiritual experience, this is the only thing that can possibly arrest this. That's terrifying, man. It's terrifying. It's like, can you imagine going to your doctor and you go give some tests? Like you give your test, right, and you roll back in 3 days later and you go, hey, man, how'd it go? And he goes, huh? What do you mean? Fatal. What? Fatal. You're done, young man. You don't even need to pay your bill. Huh? It's fatal. Yes, fatal. You've got a fatal condition. And personally, I don't even really believe in God, but I favor prayer in cases such as yours. It's like, are you kidding me, man? If you rolled into a doctor and heard that, you'd shit your pants. It's like, can't I just be coffee maker, man? No, you're fucked. Bye. See ya. But the new guy rolls in here, claims a fatal illness, and what does he do? Walks outside and vapes and has a cookie. Why? Because he doesn't really believe it's fatal and he doesn't really believe it's going to kill him. I've been shot at numerous times, as you can probably imagine. And I'll tell you, when you're getting shot at, and I'm sure there's others in this illustrious group here that will attest to this, when you're getting shot at, everybody goes down. Everybody goes down, and their voices go up like 2 octaves. Do you see which way it's coming from? Fucking everyone goes down. It's not, then the guy drives away, and they can stand up and go, I would have beat his ass, fucking punk. You know, whatever. It's like, yeah, all right, Pee Wee Herman, I got it, man. But why do they go down? Why do you go down? Because you think you're going to get hit. You think you're going to get killed. You think you're going to get hit. And yet, we come in here, and we're brand new, and we say, I got a fatal illness, got a gun against my head, it's going to go off. There's the only person that can stop this is God, and I don't got connection with God, and I'm not ducking. I'm not ducking. Why? Because you don't really believe you're going to die. I didn't believe it. Anyway, this meeting I went to was a rap center in downtown Long Beach, and it was kind of place you push your shopping cart up out front and go inside. And I was stoked if a girl had most of her teeth. And mine are all knocked out too. It's not like I'm fucking walking on high or anything. And let me tell you, I roll into this meeting. But real quick, I want to go back to one thing. So my buddy, I told him that I was going to go to this meeting, right? I'm going to go to this meeting with him just to get him to leave me alone. And after I turned away from him and started to go back into the house, I had a moment of clarity or a spiritual awakening. I know a lot of people talk about a spiritual awakening as being like some white flash, God, voice from, I've never seen it. I've never heard it. I'm an agnostic, man. I've never seen it. I have been in the desert naked. I have called this. Nothing is shown. Nothing. To me, it's exactly a spiritual awakening. It's exactly what it says. Waking up. Waking up a little bit. Being an alcoholic, my perception is always from here out. What you're doing. What you're doing, what you're doing, what she's doing, what they're doing, blah, blah. It's always from here out, from here out, from here out. And that first spiritual awakening sometimes is when you figuratively step outside yourself and look back and say, but what are you doing? What are you doing? After I told that guy I was going to go to a meeting, I went to walk back in my mom's house. And I had this moment of clarity, this spiritual awakening. I thought, fuck, how often have I been loaded lately? I thought every day. God, oh my God, I've been loaded every day for as long as I can remember. I'm either drinking, taking pills, little cocaine, whiffing Pam, smoking weed, a little hash, some mushrooms, every day for as long as I could remember. And I woke up just a little bit. Thank God it was only just a little bit. I couldn't imagine what it would be like if you woke up completely your very first day clean. You know how terrifying that'd be? Like, yeah, we got cookie, coffee, and rope for the new man. You can hang yourself now or go one more day, bud, whatever you want to do. Because this is a nightmare, man. And I don't care how long you've been drinking. Because if you have the root of our illness, which is selfishness and self-centeredness, then the chances are you have made decisions based on self your whole life that are now coming back to haunt you. There's a great Malcolm X line. The chickens have come home to roost. Anyway, but I woke up just enough to see, hey, okay, maybe I do got a problem. I went to the meeting with this guy. The meeting I went to, the rap center. I'll tell you how I rolled in there. I got first of all, I got hair down to here. My hair was really long at the time. Little do I know I had a Jolly Rancher stuck in the back of my hair. Because I guess I'd passed out and then the Rancher just slid around and I just get up, I go, I'm good, you know, and I'm rolling. And then I got a Dickies work shirt with just cigarette burn holes. All my clothes had burn holes on it. Because I'd be smoking. And then I want to say something to you, so I just put my cigarette down for a second. Then you're like, dude, you're on fire, man. It's like, you're on fire, asshole. Just bad news. I did have nice shoes at the time. My buddy invited me to his wedding. I kept the shoes, just shiny black patent leather shoes. So, and my mother, who found out I was going to the meeting, she goes, are you going to that A&A, sweetheart? I go, yes, I am, Mother. She goes, would you like a couple dollars for coffee? I go, I need 40. They have dues down there, Mom. And who am I to stop her from being helpful? Anyway, so that's how I roll in. And when I roll in a meeting, I remember walking in that meeting, living at my mom's, warrants out for my arrest, no job, no car, nothing. And I remember walking in that meeting, loser, scumbag. I know that dude from school. And I'm not like you, because I'm a smooth drunk. I'm a Cary Grant drunk, is what I am. I start drinking and the first place it hits me is right here in the cheeks. And they start getting numb and I start smiling. A couple more drinks in me and I decide I want to take a walk. I head down the street. I see a light on. So I come up, knock on the door. Hey, saw the light on. Who are you? What are you doing in there? I'm a visiting drunk guy, is what I am. It's like, do you know that dude? It's like, what's up? What's up? That's me wandering into your picnic, man. And I like getting involved. I remember I got arrested one time and this cop looks at me and I was walking home and I got involved in a situation. And the cop looks at me and goes, how are you fucking involved in this? How are you involved in this? Like, just walking by. Anyway, so, and he goes, yeah, and you're the only one going down. All right, so, know what I heard in that meeting? I heard pride. Pride. Do you know that Alcoholics Anonymous is the only place besides prison where people try to be the worst? Or NA, try to be the worst? They wear the word homeless like a badge. I was homeless. They wear the word convict like a badge. I've been arrested 178 times, dog. It's like, fuck, go for 179, bro. You know, it's like unbelievable. They talk about the damage of the people, the damage that they've done to these people. And we say, what a great speaker. What a great speaker. They tell this horror story. It's like, hey, let's call the victims. Let's call the victims and see how they feel about what we've done to them. Because I can tell you right now, there are people that don't think I got a great story. Do you know some of the best amends I ever made were from people that told me to get the fuck away from them and don't call here again? Those were some of the best amends I ever made, because I want to clean it up. I want to get on the sunny side of the street. I want to give you a good report. I want to say I made this amends. Me, 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 me. And I go to the people I harmed and they said, no, thank you. Keep your amends. No, thank you. Stay away from us. Those were some of the best amends I ever made, because it reminded me and it sunk it in how much damage we do to people. Bill Wilson wrote a great letter. He said, we're so great at talking about what ass kickers we all are, but we're not so great at talking about the damage we have done to those that love us. I hear people say, I paid for my seat in here. I paid for my seat in there. Run that through. I didn't pay for shit. My family paid for my seat in here, and they paid hard. Anyone that loved or cared for me paid for my seat in these rooms. I taxed everyone that came in contact with me. Anyway, I heard pride. Pride, pride, pride. Guys talking with pride about this damage. And I walked out. And I thought, okay, I'll try to quit on my own. And I did quit on my own. I was always quitting on my own. I quit on my own hundreds of times, over and over and over again. And one time I quit. I would pop in the meeting and split and come to the meetings, and then I'd leave while I'm quitting on my own, getting loaded. And they'd say, I'm not relapsing, dude. I'm just getting high. You go back to your program. It's like, I'm not. One of these times I quit, I had 30 days, 30 solid days. No meetings, no God, no nothing, 30 solid days. And on my 30th day, I got a job as a bartender, because I thought that'd be a good job. And it's a great job. There's a lot of us work as bartenders, restaurants, musicians. We're on booze and drugs all the time. A lot of us are. If you've properly worked at First Step, great, great. If you haven't properly worked at First Step, Taco Bell is a bad idea for you. Anyway, I had not properly worked at First Step. On my way to work, my first night on the job, I stopped by a friend's house to pick up some mushrooms for another friend. I was being of service at the time. My buddy says, how's it going, Jack? I go, it's going good, man. I got 30 days. Everything's solid. Mom's good. Everything's good. Baby, they moved out. That's all good. I got a new job. Everything's great. It's going great. Is that your bong? Bam. Cunning, baffling, and powerful, alcohol disguised itself as a skunk bud and hid in this dude's bong. And I reached out and took a bong hit. Do you know the Big Book talks about that? You will not find the word bong in this book, maybe edition 8 or something, but not yet. It's not yet. But what it does say here is strange mental blank spots while sober. Not drunken blackouts, sober blackouts. I reached out without thinking. I took that bong and I took a hit, and I came to with that bong in my mouth, and I thought, fuck, I just took a bong hit. Here I'm telling this guy, I'm sober, I'm sober, I'm sober, I'm stoned. Bam, that fast. And what's my next thought? I thought, I overreacted. I got 30 days. Anybody that can get 30 days doesn't have a problem. I'm not going to go back to AA and surrender on one bong hit. Yeah, I took a bong hit. I surrender. I'll be GSR. I don't fucking work like that. So I'm into the weed. Well, now since I'm smoking weed, I'm getting dry. I need a little drinky poo to wash it down. So now I'm drinking and smoking weed. So since I'm drinking and smoking weed, these mushrooms are surely not going to get delivered. And anyway, I ate about 5 grams, headed to work, and I got fired immediately. I got fired on my first day, which is not even a record around here. You know what I mean? If you ever want to do something for fun, go to a meeting and go, yeah, I got fired my first day on the job. Somebody else will raise their hand and go, I got fired 15 minutes on my first day. Someone else will raise their hand and go, I didn't even go my first day, dude. It just, anyway. So I got fired. I'm in downtown Long Beach. I'm staggering around the street. I'm threatening people. And one of you guys shows up. And he sees me. And he goes, hey, Jack, can I help you, man? I go, yeah, can you take me to my mom's house, man? I go, I'm fucking losing it. Because I'm 5 grams deep by this time. And he goes, yeah, okay. And he drives me home, and when he drops me off, he goes, we'll talk tomorrow. I'm like, yeah, I get it. Now, I know what we'll talk tomorrow means. I had a dad that was 30 years in the service. That's how we ended up in Long Beach. I used to have to salute him. Jack Grisham reporting for inspection, sir. 30 years, fought Korea, World War II, Vietnam. My dad was a hard case. Hard case. And when he said, we'll talk about this when I get home, we'll talk about it tomorrow, it meant you're going to get an ass whipping, but you're just not going to get it right now. I'll get home and we're going to handle it. The first time I got arrested, I pled guilty. At 18, I pled guilty. You know, just said, fuck, no trial. Guilty, guilty. And my dad didn't even know where I was, and he showed up like 3 or 4 days later. I got a visitor. I see my dad, and he goes, why didn't you call me? I would have got you out of this. We could have settled up at home. I'm like, fuck that. I go, I'll stay here. I'm just going to stay in here for a little bit. I'll see you later. He goes, all right, I'll be here to pick you up. We'll settle up then. So anyway, I know what we'll talk tomorrow means. And that's what this guy says. When he drops me off at my mom's house, he says, we'll talk tomorrow. All right, great. The next day we're talking on the phone. We're talking nice. And he's not saying nothing about me being loaded. And he's one of you guys. And I go, hey man, I go, fuck man. I got hammered last night, man. I blew 30 days. He goes, yep. I go, hey, whoo. I blew 30 days, bro. I was pretty fucked up, huh? He goes, yep. What I was waiting for is, Jack, you're a loser. Jack, you're a scumbag. Jack, you're an animal. Jack, you're a sociopath. I've heard it my whole life. Courts, teachers, police, everybody. Heard it my whole life, and I'm waiting to hear it from this guy. Because he's a we don't drink, we definitely don't eat any mushrooms either. AA guy who has seen me coming in, out, disrespecting the whole deal, leaving. I'm waiting to get yelled at, and it ain't coming. And I go, hey man, I blew it, I got high. And he goes, yeah, Jack, I know. He goes, you know what? You're probably an alcoholic. And if you're an alcoholic, you can't stop drinking. And if you do stop, you can't stay stopped on your own power. That was the first time I ever heard that, and I wish that guy was still here. But 2 weeks later, on November 15th of 1988, that guy left these rooms, went out and tried a drug that he had never tried before, and he died that night in the car. That man's name was Don Langston. When I turned 15 years sober, I went and laid my chip on his grave. And I never realized it before, but he was only 21 years old when he died. Anyway, I got sober on January 8th of 1989. It was a Sunday. And anyway, it was a Sunday. And I walked in another meeting, gave it one more try. It was a Sunday night meeting at Memorial Hospital. I said I was very sick, and there's my day one. Now, the woman that I was married to down in Mexico, they had restraining orders on me. And they had a restraining order on me. And she was in the hospital at Memorial. So I would go to the hospital. I'd go to the morning meeting to see her. I'd go and walk into the meeting because they're not checking the meeting. You know what I mean? Nobody's looking for me, so I can walk in and sit down the meeting. Now, if anyone saw me that knew there was a restraining order, I'd be in trouble, but nobody. So I would go every morning to see her. I was about 13 days clean at the time, and I had picked up this car, and I drove out of Memorial Hospital, and I went to see her, and I'm losing it. So I don't know if you know, like 13 days clean doesn't feel good, man. It doesn't feel good to not be sedated. At least for me, it's not good. And I was really starting to struggle, and I saw her. She goes, there's a morning meeting. She goes, you want me locked up in here. You're out there having a great time. You want me kept away so you can sleep with all my friends. I'm like, look, I'm not having a great time, man. This is a bummer. I'm not having a great time. She goes, I'm out of here. And she gets up and she runs out of the hospital and just takes off, goes out the door and starts running. So I go after her, and I go to start my car, and my car won't start. And I don't know where she is. I called the tow truck driver. The tow truck driver says, look, you're out of the 5-mile limit. I can't tow you there. I go, then call the cops. And he goes, why? I go, because one way or another, my car is going to get towed. Either you're going to tow it for me, or I'm going to beat your ass, and they're going to impound it. So he towed it. And anyway, so I show up at my mom's house, and when I walk in, there's a $3,000 bench warrant for me for not showing up on a prowling under the influence of meth charge. And I was not high on this charge. It was one of these times I was trying to stay clean, and then and I'd been drinking espresso all day, And then in my head, I thought, if I get this guy that's selling drugs in the neighborhood, that somehow that's going to help me be clean. That thinking. And so I went to this guy's house, and I was all in black, and I'm hiding, I'm waiting for his car to show up, and I've got a little bat. And anyway, the car pulls up, so I come at the car, but it's not him, it's unmarked Metro. And so they weren't happy with me, and after a scuffle, I was subdued, and I go, no, 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 man. I go, you don't understand. I go, I'm on your team. The guy looks at me and goes, we don't want you on our team. And anyway, so I come home that morning, I got a bench warrant out for my arrest, my car's dusted, I got a warrant, again, she's gone, all this stuff's gone, and for some reason I didn't get loaded that day. For some reason, I didn't get high. And I remember going to a meeting that night, the old college hospital out in Paramount. And I remember looking at the clock, and it was 9:10. I thought, God, it's 9:10, and I'm still not high. And I've stayed clean ever since. And I want to end with this. For the first couple of years, when I was saying I was an alcoholic, saying I was an addict, there was a little voice inside that said, no, you're not. No, you're not. Not like them. Not like those people. You're not like them. That little voice would just go on. Every time I said it, it would go on. One day I'm out surfing. I'm almost 2 years clean by this time. And I'm out surfing, and it's a beautiful day. Beautiful day. Have you ever heard hungry, angry, lonely, tired? You ever heard that? It's like, read this book. They weren't hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. They had just had a sandwich and a glass of milk. The job had gone quite well. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. Read these guys' stories. They were all just killing it. And next thing you know, bam, 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 loaded. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. I was surfing. I go to the noon meeting. My mother's giving me some money. I walk in the noon meeting. I grab a cup of coffee. I grab a couple of cookies. I go sit down. I light up a Marlboro Red. You could smoke in the meetings, and I'm going to participate. Now, I don't know what's going on. I haven't done any of this shit, but I've got something to say about what I'm planning on doing. I got that. I'm sitting there, and I'm ready to participate, and I had another one of those strange moments of clarity. And what it was almost like the old Groucho Marx show, if you've ever seen it. Like a little duck flew in the room. Just flew in the room, and a little sign came down, and it said, fuck you, you're going again. And all of a sudden, I had a moment of clarity. And I looked at my life. And I looked at every time I had gone straight. Every time I had gotten arrested and said, I'm not going to do that again. Every time I had pushed the drugs or the alcohol to the point where I was sick, near to death, and I said, fuck, I'm not doing that again. Every time I was in trouble, not doing that again, not doing that again. And I did it over and over and over and over again. I would swear off with everything, man, crying. Fuck, I mean it this time, I mean it, I mean it. But then a week later, I just didn't mean it that much. And then 2 weeks after that, I didn't mean it at all. And 3 weeks after that, I meant it again. And I saw that all the way through my life. And I'm sitting in that meeting, and all of a sudden I panicked. Because I realized that this was just going to be one more stop. One more stop. I'd known enough about the illness that I knew it focused in my mind, and I knew one day I was going to say, hey, I don't need you guys. I'm out of here. I'm good. I got it. And I knew I was going to get loaded again one more time. And I panicked, and I got scared. Because by then, my relationship with my daughter was coming back. Warrants are cleaned up. Everything's good. I'm starting to have this good life. And I think, I don't want to get loaded again. And I also realized there wasn't anything I could do to stop it. You know, you hear people around here and they say, hey, if you want to stay sober, and this is all good stuff, right? But they say, hey, if you want to stay sober, get yourself a sponsor. You want to stay, you get a sponsor, you're going to stay sober. I saw lots of guys get sponsors, great sponsors, and they got high. They got loaded. And then they say, hey, you want to make it, you study this book. You get in here and you study this book, you want to make it. I'd go pick up guys in hotel rooms sitting in their own shit, and they'd be quoting Big Book at me while I was putting them in the hospital. And then they'd say, get a commitment. You want to stay sober, get a commitment. And I saw guys with tons of commitments, and they were dead. They had died. And I realized that none of this stuff was going to help me. None of it was going to help me, because I knew one day I was going to walk out of here and say, no, thank you. I'm good. And I panicked. And I saw this dude, this old dude, George Davis, old longshoreman from the 40s. And I saw this guy, and he had gotten sober in the late 40s. And I looked at him, and I saw him, and I said, I believe it, man. I believe George is sober. I believe George is sober. And I believe if I do what he does, I can stay. And it was such a crazy moment, man, because you hear guys go, well, when was your bottom? They'll go, well, my bottom was when I was on the street or when I lost this. And that's circumstantial, man. For me, my bottom was when my map of the world failed. When there was no more plan out, no more chance, no more nothing. I had no way out. I didn't know what the hell was going on. That's when I had hit bottom. I hit bottom that afternoon at almost 2 years sober, crushed, defeated. And then I saw this old dude and I said, if he can do it, I can do it. And all of a sudden, new power flew in. You know, you'll hear the word powerless, powerless, powerless thrown around here all the time. Thrown around in meetings. I'm powerless over this. Bullshit. Read this. Do you know how many times they say powerless in this? One time. And it's past tense. We were power. We were powerless. Do you know when they say power returns? Before you've even done a third step. When you launch in and you say, hey, I'm going to do this, man. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to roll. I'm doing it. And they say that's when power returns. It's just what your definition of power is. Trying to be controlling is not power. Anyway, I've been here ever since, man, and my life has been unbelievable. And I just love this, and I'm so grateful. And the one thing I do know is you guys are just fine without me. You're fine without me. I see these guys start getting time, and they act like they got something. You know, I hope I stay new. If we're talking about the infinite God, the timeline of the infinite God, who the fuck can call themselves an old timer on that line? To be a child, to stay new, to constantly be teachable, to listen. And I'll shut up with this, man. Some guys blow new people off like you got nothing to say. The cool thing about new people is you're coming in with a different perspective. We're all in here doing this, and you're coming in totally different. I had this guy want me to sponsor him, and I don't even like that word, just friend, but he wanted me to be his special friend. Okay, great. This guy was gnarly, some hippie, and he just, you know, and he just stinks. He's bathing in patchouli. You know, he's got a festering wound on his leg. You know, he smells, and he's just, oh my God, and he's an atheist, and he's just, you know, it's just like just intellectual, terrible person. And when he called me, I could hear a sucking from the other room, like a black hole, man. The phone would ring and it'd be like, oh, just like a sucking over there, that negative energy. All right, so somebody invites me to a party, and I tell him I go. I got a car, and I say, yeah, I'll go to the party. He calls me up, sucking towards the phone. He goes, you going to that party at Joni's? I go, oh, fuck. I go, yeah. Yeah, I am. And look at, and if you like everybody you're working with, you're not working with enough people, so double it up. Anyway, so I go, yeah, I'm going. He goes, can you pick me up, dude? I mean, she's a real bitch, but you know, can you pick me up? It's like, yeah, I'll pick you up, right? So I go pick him up, and he stinks. I mean, the whole car stinks, and he's just obnoxious. And I get to the party, and I get some distance on him. You know what I mean? But I can smell him go by me every once in a while. It's like, fuck. So anyway, I'm standing there. And this guy's standing behind me. I can smell him. He's standing behind me. I can hear what he's saying. And I hear this dude come up to me and goes, oh, you're back again, huh? He goes, yeah, for a little while maybe. I don't know, man. He goes, who you working with now? He goes, I'm working with Jack. And now I back up a little bit because I want to hear what he says about me, right? And the one guy goes, do you want what Jack's got? And now I'm really listening, right? And then this dude goes, nah. He goes, I don't want what Jack's got. Jack's a fucking maniac, man. I go, you fucking, you know, and now I'm pissed because I got to drive this asshole home, right? And then he says, but I didn't get Jack because I wanted what he's got. I got Jack because he's got what I've got, and I knew he would understand. Coming out of the mouth of a newcomer. You don't hear a lot of that coming out of the mouth of old timers these days. Anyway, so I just want to thank you guys so much for having me, and that's it. Thank you.